Welcome, everyone, to aisle 666, your one stop shop for the internet's dumbest, craziest, funniest, cutest, most compelling internet conspiracy theories. I am one of your hosts, Molly LeGros, and with me, as always, is
The other host, Haley Clunan Lacey. The other host.
And also, as always, for added fun, Haley has no idea what we are going to be talking about tonight.
so tonight we are already kind of veering off from like specifically internet conspiracies just because and I thought crop circles would be fun.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the crop circles.
So what we're going to cover today, just like where the idea of crop circles began, what actually even are crop circles, its rise in popularity between the 70s and the 90s, the intense need to either prove or debunk the supernatural alien element from both sides, so much so that it was difficult to find I just wanted to find weird stories, and most of what I
Like, I
found
just
was
want some
like,
peripheral information on the
yeah,
crop circles.
most of what I found was like, it's real. No, it's not real. Shut up.
Shut up, Steve. Fuck you, Dan. I mean,
So,
they're definitely real. Like, they're there.
I mean, like, yeah, like I'm looking at them.
Yeah, it seems real.
I watched two documentaries. I only watched half of one of them because it was just so off the rails, and then I went to a different one. And it's so the one that's like more legit in my opinion is called Crop Circle Realities. It was made in 2021 and it's on this thing called Tubi you can get on your Roku.
Oh, I've seen that.
um
Not like to be or not to be, like TUBI.
no, very much not Shakespearean.
Or so, like, if you make it, we'll put it up here. It's free.
Literally, it's like, please watch our
There's
shit.
zero gatekeeping. Do whatever you want.
It's a free for all. The way that they started off this documentary, they said in 1963, amateur astronomer Patrick Moore described a crater he discovered in a potato field in Wiltshire, England.
Okay, hello for me editing this. It occurred to me only as I was listening to this back that I am a dumb American who pronounced all these British towns ending in SHIRE as Shire when they really should be pronounced like Wiltshire. And yeah, that is my bad. So I am sorry if that sounds super cringe from here on out, but yeah, I pronounced them all of them incorrectly, and I am just so sorry I was ever born. Okay, back into it.
In nearby wheat fields, there were several circular and elliptical areas where the wheat had been flattened in a geometric pattern. He believed these were caused by air currents from the impact since they led towards the crater. So that's like one of the first encounters with it.
Okay.
But the guy who found it was like, I'm assuming the wind did this.
Yeah, like if you were like landing a helicopter and it's just like making a circle in the grass. But I feel
Yeah.
like that would go away once the wind stopped. I don't think the wind is that permanent.
And then astronomer Hugh Ernest Butler observed similar craters and thought that they were caused by lightning strikes, which I would also maybe buy. When we get a little bit more into it, the way that crop circles even are, like you would think that they are cut into the crops, but
Yeah.
they're actually flattened.
Oh,
Like,
smush.
yeah.
Someone stamped it.
Yes. Someone just put
Someone
their
went stomp, 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 and now you got a geometric sick pattern.
exactly.
Someone stomped
So
ever so slightly in a very particular way.
in, in the 1970s, so that was 1963. In the
Okay.
1970s, even more bizarre geometric shapes began to manifest overnight in the wheat fields of Wiltshire, England. I also didn't realize that a lot of what we know about crop circles comes from a very specific region in England.
Yeah, I'll say I feel like I knew it was England and like Europe for some reason. I remember I went there when I was younger, but I don't think we saw crop circles. We saw like it wasn't Stonehenge, it was like a different version of Stonehenge. I feel
Like
like we maybe couldn't
Stonehenge
get in,
light.
but it was called Avon. So I guess like there's a lot of cool nature shit going on over there in England. And that's your point.
That is my
That's your main point.
because it's like localized, or not localized, but like because a lot of them are in around the same area, that's why people, skeptics I'll call them, think that it's not real, because they're like, where's the other ones around the world?
Yeah, you're like,
Basically.
it's just one guy who lives in England who has a lot of free time doing this. And he doesn't have money to fly to other places and recreate them there. Why do you think they're just happening here?
How dare you?
Yeah.
He's like the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. He's like, this is my neighborhood and this is where I do this. He's like, shit, it was me. How'd you get me? How'd you know all the hay sticking out of my pockets and my shoes?
It's like a Scooby-Doo reveal.
And instead of a mask, they're just ripping like fucking grass and hay out of his pockets.
Like, can you fucking stop this?
You're freaking everyone out. You're scaring the kids. Scaring my son.
He won't even eat bread anymore. The more complicated the patterns became, the more people speculated that this was supernatural. It was also because like they would show up within a night, and they're
Yeah,
not
like
small.
call it what it is. It's European alien Banksy. Just come on out with it.
But yeah, so it's like, it's also just like, considering that this is what, the 70s too, people are like, we're very aware at where technology is at right now. Like, this would take a long time.
Yeah.
more than an evening. The documentary also found the earliest known reference to crop circles, which was in a 1678 pamphlet
Whoa. That's
called
crazy.
The Mowing Devil.
That's so cool.
So, also in England, is called Hertfordshire. I might be pronouncing that wrong.
Hertfordshire.
Yeah, I did not pronounce that correctly at all.
So the legend, I guess, whatever was written down in this pamphlet, said that a wealthy farmer had offered to pay an impoverished neighbor to cut his field of oats at a reduced rate.
Oh, so
This
he's
is
like,
like,
you're poor.
fuck you.
You'll do it. What a prick.
You'll do anything.
Yeah.
So the neighbor, struggling for income, obviously agreed at first, but the deal ended up falling through because they couldn't reach an agreement on cost, because the wealthy farmer was probably like, here's a penny.
Yeah, get fucked. I thought this was leading to, you're like, so then he carved half his grass into fun shapes to screw the farmer who didn't want to pay him. But I was like, wow, that's an even cooler origin story.
And the impoverished neighbor has been doing it ever since.
Since the ghost of that impoverished neighbor has been doing it for 300 years.
So they argue and everything, and the wealthy farmer's like, deal's off the table. You can't do it anymore.
Then you get nothing. Then you'll have nothing. He Willy Wonka's him.
He did. So the same impoverished farmer realized that if he pissed off the wealthy farmer, he wouldn't get hired for other jobs.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, it's a little too late for that. So he runs after the wealthy farmer in desperation. And the wealthy farmer says the devil should mow his oats before he'd allow the impoverished farmer the opportunity.
I'm hearing that in a southern accent. I know that's not where we are.
I know. I want to say it so bad. Like, the devil should mow these oats before I will let you anywhere near them.
Yeah, he's like, don't touch my oats, Dale. Stay off my oats.
I don't want to see you looking at them even.
Don't mow them with your eyes. Don't mow them with your hands. Don't do any of that shit.
So the next day, the wealthy farmer finds perfect circles cut into an acre of his fields. Which again, I'm like, this is 1678. Where did anyone have the time to do that?
Well, also, I will say they're bored. They don't have TV yet. So maybe they only had
Maybe actually they had nothing but
They were
time.
really committed to bit, and they're like, actually, I do have time. Funny you should ask. I have a lot of time.
Witnesses in that were like cited in the pamphlet state that due to the complexities and precision of the circles, they believe the the work in the fields was done by the devil himself.
Whoa. The devil's
I
in the
love
details.
quite
And that's
literally.
what they said. That's where that phrase comes from.
It just made me think about like how during those days, like you could just say like the devil did this, and
Yeah.
that counted as like a primary source.
Yeah, they're like, okay, write that down. Option 1, the devil did do it. That's like totally like that's on the table.
Does anyone have eyes on the devil for an
Yeah.
interview?
Does he have an alibi? What was he doing that day?
And the report also details that each straw was laid down with such exactness that it'd be impossible for a human to have done it themselves, especially in just one night and through extreme darkness. Because, like, people went to bed at like 4 p.m. during those days because it got really dark.
Yeah.
So that is the like earliest known reference to them. Today, though the patterns continue to become more complicated, they still look cohesive with each other and usually have no eyewitnesses to their creation, which is another reason why it's like could be, could not be, because it's like no one's fucking seen it even made.
Yeah. You're like, no one's not even one time. Not even once.
So there's two guys in England who claim to have like created crop circles.
Oh, like the idea of them or like physically made them themselves? Or like the lore behind
both.
them?
Both.
Oh, okay.
The idea and also the execution. So their names are Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley.
Oh, I like Dave Chorley.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but I like him so far.
He sounds like a silly guy.
Yeah. I'm on his side. I don't know if they're even fighting, but I'm on Chorley's side.
He's like, I just like shapes and I like wheat and I like putting them together.
Dude, that's me.
Are you Dave Chorley?
I love shapes and wheat.
So he claimed to have created crop circles, and my note there was like, if that's true, how do you explain the 1600s? It's just like, yeah, I don't doubt that you made some of them, but
yeah, you
like
could have done a crop circle or two, but like
yeah.
you didn't begin them.
And also I was like, why suddenly come forward to be like, hey, I made it up.
He's like, I will be the face of crop circles. Crop circles need a front man.
So they also like they'd revealed techniques. Basically, they were just like, yeah, you use these harvest tools and you push them down and like
Like
and
a
they
tamper? Like a thing
yeah,
you
and
tamp like concrete or soil?
I don't pretend to know what kind of harvest tools there are,
Yeah.
but apparently some of them.
I was picturing like big boots. Like big boots with like some sort of apparatus that has like a really clean edge to it, and they just like walk around in circles.
Even though a lot of them are in these regions in England, there are, according to these researchers in the documentary, there are over 1,000 crop circles that expand the globe. So
Oh, are they like so are they still existing? Like how long do they stay
yeah.
on the site? Okay, that's cool.
Well, actually,
Wait,
no.
this
I
is
feel
dumb.
like
Doesn't the grass fucking grow back?
that's what
How does that work?
like as I just said that, I was like, no.
Yeah, like who's maintaining these? Who has the time? Is there a groundskeeper specifically for crop circles?
In 1991, biophysicist Dr. William C. Levengood studied the stalks of crops from several spiral flattening anomalies. And over a decade long study, he discovered that the stalks were, in his opinion, exposed to high levels of electromagnetic and microwave radiation.
Oh shit. Now it's getting crazy. I'm gonna look up some crop circles as you're doing this too.
So I want to go back for a second because with the hoaxers, because that's also a term within like the crop circle community is like hoaxers.
Hoaxer? That sounds like something a Canadian or like someone from Wisconsin would call something else, like in a derogatory way. You fucking
Hoaxer.
hoaxer. Drop the cheese curds, hoaxer.
So the hoaxers, what they say is that the way that you can tell if it's done by a person or not is if where the circle is, if the stalks are like pushed down and broken, then it was probably done by a human.
Right. Clumsy
But
people.
this is kind of what I was saying before. So they did show a stalk that they believe comes from a quote unquote like real crop circle. And it looks like, you know, obviously grows up for a little bit, but then it like bends, like as if it was like,
okay.
Definitely like heat was involved with
okay.
That's why at the very beginning when they said something about maybe it was a lightning strike, I was like, yeah, maybe. Because like
okay.
I could see how that would happen.
I do feel like too, like when lightning strikes, like I guess this is more like if you see it in people, like it like picks up what's on the ground and under your skin. So like it does look like the weird like the sacred geometry stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like that makes sense too. Like it would react to the ground that way, but I don't really know what I'm talking about. But
it's hard to say he discovers. I'm just saying, like, his opinion is that they were exposed to high levels of electromagnetic and microwave radiation.
But did he like test the crops and stuff? You said like the wheat or whatever the grass was?
He did. It's just like I don't know why I feel like I have to take all of the research and evidence with a grain of salt here. Only because like again, when you watch these documentaries, like it's just so apparent that the people that are talking, like they really want you to like get on board.
Yeah, it's like very like confirmation biasy in the way that they're presenting you.
That's why I'm like, I want to.
You're like, I want to believe, as they say.
Yeah, so they believe that at least 20% of spiral flattening is not man-made. So
wow.
even that, I was like, that's a pretty small margin that they're giving. Like they're like, yeah, most of them are from humans.
That's higher than I thought it was gonna be.
Oh, well, that's
like honest.
Let's get into one of there's like two different researchers that they interviewed mostly. The first person that they talked to, his name is Stephen Bassett. And he is the founder of this research group called Paradigm Research Group, which to me sounds like a Marvel villain's laboratory.
Yeah, that or like a high-end like design firm.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't know, it's Paradigm or there's something like that is in New York that there's been like lots of stuff and like really good people coming out of.
I just feel like that word paradigm, everyone likes to throw that into.
I do like that for crop circles though. That's like on brand for crop circles.
He has spoken to audiences around the world about the implications of disclosure, which is the formal confirmation by heads of state of an extraterrestrial presence engaging in the human race. He has given over 1,200 radio and television interviews, so he is busy.
His books are full.
Getting the word out about crop circles.
Like spreading those good words about those crop circles.
He's like, hey, did you hear? I'll go anywhere.
I'll talk to anyone. But he plays it like really humble and he's like, yeah, I'll do your little auditorium.
So in 2013, PRG organized a citizen hearing on disclosure at the National Press Club in Washington. So it was kind of like a hearing where they were actually able to talk to government officials. So basically they are just petitioning the government to admit that extraterrestrials exist.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. But at the same time, I'm like, this is your life's work.
Yes, a petition.
A petition so that the government will just be like, yeah, they're real.
Yeah, like that's all the action that you want.
Yeah, that's like all that this is this is what I mean. Like it that's why it never goes beyond this where
they're like, just admit it. It's like someone who's like, you never say you're sorry. Just say you're sorry. Just say it. I just want the words.
One of the first things Stephen Bassett said when they like cut to him is that he thinks the reporters who accepted Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley's confession and proclamation to crop circles should flat out retire and give up the field of journalism. And I was like, ouch.
Guys, quit while you're ahead. Or
Well,
you know what? Just quit. Yeah, quit while you're behind, fellas. He's like, don't listen to either of them. Listen to me.
They should never have quit their day jobs, and they have confused you.
He's like, they're quacks, eh?
And I am not.
Yeah, not me though. I'm the king of the crop circles. Move over.
No, wait, I don't make them, but
neither do you, and that's the most important point here.
So he believes that there is messaging and how crop circles don't always show up so randomly over the globe. He believes putting them in the same place is a challenge to humans from extraterrestrials.
Get it? So they're challenging them. They're challenging the people of England to something.
Yeah, they're like, why do we keep doing it here? You gotta find out. It's a puzzle.
They're like, our hearts are really set on England for this whole thing, whatever it is. this tournament of geometry.
Listen, I mean, what if they're like playing a prank on them because they were the like hugest colonizers for the longest time?
That's a good. They're like graffitiing. They're trying to take the property values down.
Yeah, they're like, fuck you, colonizers.
Fuck you, England.
Okay, so then he said, he goes, so then they had airplanes flying over wheat fields, and he said that's when it got cool. He claims that the planes would sometimes fly overhead at noon, and by 12:10 there would be a 2 to 3 acre crop circle there. And I was like, okay, where can I find that evidence?
Can I see live footage of this or see it? Yeah, like that's what I need to believe.
Well, just see it to believe that's a very simple like way to prove that,
yes,
that it's real.
That's an open and shut case.
I'm like, let me see it.
Yeah. Then where is it? What's his name? Steven?
Yeah.
Where is it, Steven?
But he said that was not good enough for the media, of course. Oh, that's another thing.
Oh, of course. The media? Don't even get me started on the media.
The media is the enemy always.
Yeah.
He said it was not good enough for the media, of course, and not for the fine academics at Cambridge and Oxford, who apparently ignore anything that challenges their worldview.
Yes, of course.
Like, you got a lot of opinions, man.
He's like, it's those snooty fuckheads over there.
They wouldn't let me in.
They're shutting me down. They're shushing me. They're quieting my voice. Cambridge, hear this.
You've shushed me for the last time.
Yeah.
Oh, also just something that I wrote down about watching this. I was like, he purposefully mispronounces English towns. Like he was like in Hampshire or Shropshire.
Imagine my embarrassment when I realized that I did the exact same thing. However, I will say that I did not willfully pronounce them wrong. I was completely ignorant. Which makes it better, right? I'm trying to do better, I promise.
Is he from there?
No, he's American, but I'm just like,
God. Come on, Steven, you're making me not like you as much.
Exactly. That's why I was like, wait, you're willfully on camera mispronouncing where this would have, like, I don't know. That's just not objective.
Yeah, people, it's undermining your case, Steven. People are going to think you don't know how to read.
Oh my God, Easter egg. Leah Michelle, can she read? Find out next time.
So then they talked to someone else. His name is Gary King. We like Gary King.
Gary's a king.
Gary is indeed a king.
Oh, I can't wait to learn more about Gary.
I'm so excited for
Gary. I'm coming for you. Wait there.
So he tells this story about the summer of 1996. Just for context, Haley and I are alive, but nowhere near England.
Yeah, I didn't met Gary yet.
But we were
That's
on
later. Yeah, I was breathing. I was maybe walking around.
We don't know.
We don't know. I don't remember.
This was the summer of 1996, and a 19-year-old man named John Whaley came to Wiltshire to visit crop circles because throughout the 70s, like up through the 90s, it was like everyone wanted to see them and everyone wanted to see them get made too. The night that he decided to do his watch, it was raining, so he was by himself. Apparently people don't watch crop circles get made in the rain. He is awoken by sounds at 4 a.m. and he opened his tent and saw these white orbs flying around the field. And he recorded them on his camcorder and got about 15 minutes. And so he's just looking at these orbs because he's like, that's so cool. What is that?
There they are. They're making the crop circles just like they said.
Yeah. And so he goes into the barge inn at about 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. and he shows everyone his video. So it's like 6 or so hours afterwards. So what he didn't notice in this video, because he was just looking at the orbs, is that a crop circle was forming below the orbs as they were moving.
Oh yeah, okay. That's what I assumed.
So what happens is he shows everyone at this bar / inn, and then he gave the footage to someone named Peter Sorensen, who like he said he was gonna put it on the news or something like that. Then Sorensen came back later and said that the footage was stolen. So like the only images we see today from the footage are from like 15 or so seconds. But it's still enough to like see, like I very clearly saw how it was working.
Yeah, that's cool.
The big thing about that was that skeptics about this, they said that he would have taken a video of really anything, and then in the time between when he got the video and when he went to the inn to show people, he like edited it, and I was like, in 96, that is ambitious.
Yeah, that's definitely hard.
Like
from it's like you don't have like Wi-Fi or the internet to like run something to edit it.
Exactly. I was like, from 4 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. that is a tight.
Yeah, I don't know, because then like if it's on a camcorder too, like I think you can only like cut and like crop and speed things up.
When they claimed that he animated the footage within 5 hours before bringing it to the, because they all, that's what they were saying, was that he animated it. And
like he drew over the tape.
And I was like, I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, like what's this dude's deal? Like, he wasn't like a filmmaker or someone in that like community going to do that. Like he was just checking out the crop circles.
Right. So a researcher did take the footage to Disney animators, asked them how long they need to recreate this animation. Oh, and they were asking this in 2004. So it was a couple of years later. And they were asking how long they'd need to create, however rough this footage is, what's the minimum basically for how long it would take to make it look as realistic as it does. And they said it'd take 4 days minimum.
Oh my God.
And they don't even know if they could get it to look as realistic.
Oh shit. Now I'm believing it. I'm excited.
So someone else named Christopher Everard in Australia from Nexus magazine, he sent the footage to a lab in London for it to be analyzed. And the way that he says that he believes that it's not animated is due to the way that the camera moves from being handheld, because you know how like your hand moves, obviously.
Yeah, there's just like shake happening.
Yeah, but the orbs never move. Or at least like they don't move their plane. Like obviously they're moving.
Yeah.
But like
they're steady eddies.
They're pretty steady. So it at least proved that it wasn't animated, if that makes sense.
Right.
I was like, you know what? Good enough for me. That was a weird video. Okay, here we go. So you see these white orbs?
Oh shit.
And then do you see the circle forming underneath it?
Yeah. Right, because they'd have to animate the crop circles being made and the orbs.
Yeah,
that's why it would take so long. That's crazy.
That's why I was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, you're like, you're pretty. You think you could do it? You do it. You think you could animate it in 5 hours?
That's another reason why I was like, the time alone that it takes to do this stuff. Like, I don't know.
You're like, think it through. There's the willpower needed to do it. There's the time. There's the skill.
Okay, so that is the video. Where I got to during this research, I was like, okay, so they say that these are messages from extraterrestrials, but what are the messages?
Right.
Like they've been contacting us for upwards of 50, maybe even hundreds of years, and we still don't know what they're saying. My idea is that maybe it's the extraterrestrial equivalent of carving something into a tree.
Oh yeah, like it's more for them than for us.
Yeah. Steve was here.
Yeah, it's graffiti. It's just like young teenage aliens. They're like, instead of like, do you want to go do cow tipping or do donuts? They're like, do you want to go make some crop circles? And they're like, hell yeah, fucking let's go.
Like, watch this. They're gonna lose their fucking minds.
Let's get in our Jeep and go do that. Our space Jeep.
Aerially, some of them aren't just circles. There's one that looks like an outline of like an alien face. Like, it's weird.
Whoa.
And then there was one other person that they talked to, but I didn't get his name because they didn't give him a lower third.
They're like, and whoever the fuck this schmuck is.
He was outside our office talking about fucking crop circles.
Yeah, he was just here to corroborate.
So he believes from one of the crop circles that when looked at aerially, it looks like a diagram of sorts, that basically it's like a rectangle, and it looks kind of like stick figures, almost hieroglyphics. And it's,
oh shit.
He's like, I think it's them trying to say that they're similar to us in many ways, and that maybe like their chemistry is the same, but are more developed in their genome. I don't know. That might just be more speculation, but because I did look at it, I was like, that does look like a little DNA helix.
You're like, oh, I can see it. All right, guy outside the office.
He also said that one of them said beware written somewhere in Morse code. And I was like, you had me.
You're like, I wanted to go with you on this journey, and now I don't.
Beware of what?
They're like, just be aware like that we're here and we're doing this.
Or it's another one of them being like, watch this, I'm gonna write beware.
Yeah, they're like, ooh, I'm gonna spook them good.
I have two articles that try to debunk crop circles.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's like, because I know even when I just Googled images, Smithsonian was like, yeah, they're not real. Fucking don't get your hopes up. And I'm like, don't hurt me, Smithsonian. Like, I was just getting excited about this.
Like, can you just let me have fun?
Yeah, just let me have this one thing. God.
Yes, but that is the one of the articles, Smithsonian Mag. It's called Crop Circles, The Art of the Hoax. And
yeah.
So here's the thing. As long as you can present to me, evidence, I will always be on board. But their only, thing that they come back to is those two guys, Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley. Immediately, they're like explaining what crop circles are and like how they got popular and everything. And they were like, but what are they? Well, these two guys, and it just explains their story. And I'm just like, okay, but I also saw a pamphlet from 1678. Were they around and kicking then?
Yeah, you're like, well, that was the OG crop circle.
And they did mention England 1963, that the town of Wiltshire, once this became popular, it became a center of UFO seeking, sky watches, and gave birth to its own rumors of crop circles, or saucer nests, I guess they called them.
Oh, okay.
And they said none of these, unfortunately, were photographed. But then they get very pretentious and they say crop circles are a lens through which we can explore the nature and appeal of hoaxes. Fakes, counterfeits, and forgeries are all around us in the everyday world. The nebulous world of the anomalous and the paranormal is even richer soil for hoaxers. A large proportion of the population believes in ghosts, angels, UFOs, and ET visitations, fairies, psychokinesis, and other strange phenomena. So they're like, if you think crop circles were made by aliens, then what's next? Ghosts?
They're like, give me a break. We're an institution of science.
Like, shut your fucking mouth, but also, yes.
Yeah, you're like, kind of. You're like, if one's real, like, why wouldn't the others be real?
Especially with these kinds of articles, I'm like, I am more willing to admit that there's way more about the world and things beyond the world that I don't know about
Yeah, well, that's like the derealization thing. Like once you think about it, like you think about it so much, and then you're just like, oh yeah, I know like 1% of what's going on.
To feel that way and to assume that we're it and this existence is it. I just feel like that's so arrogant.
Yeah. Or like to be like super sure of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems arrogant.
Cuz I'm like I don't know and I will be and I if you can prove to me that I am 100% wrong, then yeah, but like if you can't then
Yeah, and just like I feel like I don't trust any source or any person to be that sure either. Like I feel like they shouldn't be.
just one more thing about this particular article is that it goes on this rant about confirmation bias and false evidence without actually specifying what about crop circles is false evidence beyond the Doug and Dave duo.
Yep.
So it says, for even if the evidence is eventually exposed as false, it will have affected people's perceptions of the phenomenon it was intended to represent. I'm like, yeah, for sure, but you're not saying what here has been exposed to be false.
Yeah, they're not disproving it.
And then there was a different article that consisted of the only actual pieces of evidence to the contrary that I will consider.
Okay.
One of them is wind, obviously.
Right.
Probably the most scientific theory is that crop circles are created by small currents of swirling winds called vortices, similar to dust devils, and that the spinning columns force a burst of air down to the ground, which flattens the crops. There's also a theory that it's earth energy.
Okay.
Like some researchers believe that the earth creates its own energy, which forms the circles, and that one possible form of earth energy is electromagnetic radiation, which is what we were talking about earlier.
Right.
The crops in the circles were damaged in much the same way that if you heated it in a microwave oven. He proposed the idea that the crops were being rapidly heated from the inside. And so, yeah, so either the energy is natural, such as a fungus that attacks the crops and causes their stems to bend over, or it's a byproduct of something man-made.
But I guess like that doesn't make sense if it was the 1600s. Like I keep going back to that too.
I went back to that a lot as well because obviously I don't think it was the devil, but something happened. So we can go through the plot of the movie Signs if you want.
That sounds fun.
Okay. So I've actually never seen this movie because it came out when we were a little bit younger, so I remember I actually thought it was scary.
Yeah, I think too. Like I think lots of M. Night Shyamalan stuff came out when I was younger, and I was
Yeah.
always like, oh, I'm a little afraid of that. It seems scary.
The movie Signs, I wrote, I will not watch this because Mel Gibson, but here's a synopsis.
I know, I'd like to see it at this point.
Mel Gibson plays former Episcopal priest Graham Hess, who lives on a rural farm in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, with his asthmatic preteen son, Morgan.
What a fucking nerd already.
They had to be like, this is foreshadowing, but just to point it out, he has fucking asthma.
You're like, he has asthma, and he's not even a full-on teen yet. He's a preteen. Ew. Just be a full teen already. God. Breathe right and be a full teen.
his asthmatic preteen son Morgan and young daughter Bo. Which
that's
like
some good gender bending for whatever the fuck that came out. I was gonna say I didn't see those coming.
M Night. You called the boy Morgan and the girl Bo.
Yeah, get it, M Night. That's the twist.
Graham's younger brother Merrill, a failed minor league baseball player, has been helping the family since Graham's wife Colleen died in a traffic accident 6 months earlier.
And I don't know why I thought you said tragic, and I was like, you said traffic, and I was like, hold on, I had to recalibrate what I was gonna say.
Well, I would assume it was tragic.
Yeah, it wasn't like slow moving, like crawling traffic, and she just died. It's probably an accident.
And Graham, so Mel Gibson apparently abandons the church in the aftermath of the incident. So
yeah, he loses his faith. Probably.
That's where we're starting from. Mm-hmm. And so large crop circles appear in the Hess's cornfield, and they're initially attributed to vandals.
Right, of course.
That's what vandals do.
Exactly. Just some lighthearted fun.
However, other crop circles begin to appear globally, and lights from invisible objects hover over many of the Earth's cities.
Yeah, just like the video.
Yeah. So M. Night Shyamalan did a lot of research.
He watched that same documentary that you did.
He did.
Same page.
One night, Graham and Meryl chase a figure into the field, and Graham glimpses another among the corn stalks, followed by strange clicking noises.
I'm already creeped out. I didn't hear a noise yet. I'm like,
Noises
ugh.
like Predator.
Yeah, I think okay. Yeah, I'm also hearing the predator noise. That's exactly the predator is my baseline for any like clicking alien noise. He's got the trademark. He's got the patent on all clicking noises, on all like unknown source clicking noises.
And, like clicking noises. Was it like Predator?
He's like, you better be crediting me in that.
He gets royalties.
Yeah, he's really a stickler about it.
So after receiving a phone call from Ray Reddy, who was, I guess, the man responsible for Graham's wife's death, Graham travels to Reddy's home and finds him sitting in his car outside of the house. He expresses remorse for Colleen's death and warns Graham that a creature is locked inside his pantry.
What? He's like, yeah, I'm sorry about your wife. Help me.
But by the way,
someone's clicking in my pantry. Someone's click clacking near my food, near my canned goods.
He's like all around my pantry, just like
Yeah. He's opening all my bags of chips. That was for months. I stocked up on those.
They didn't explain this from the synopsis, but apparently they believe that the aliens avoid water. That's like something in the lore in this movie.
Like Gremlins.
Yeah.
I just watched Gremlins this week, by the way. It's very fresh in my head.
Okay, so the alien previously trapped inside Reddy's pantry. Oh, there's like a whole tussle that happens after that because they have to have an action scene.
Yeah, it's Mel Gibson. He's like, if I don't get to fight at someone in each movie, that's a breach of contract.
Why is there always some element of religion in all men?
Because it's him, because he's the nutbag. You can tell him I said that.
Yeah, I will.
Please convey that to him.
What does any of this have to do with him being a priest? Or a former priest?
Yeah, you're right. Maybe it's just people testing him. He's like, don't fucking test me. And they do.
Character traits or whatever, but this whole movie can continue without that.
Yes, that didn't need to happen. It doesn't matter. It's not a plot point.
So the alien previously trapped inside Reddy's pantry enters Graham's house and takes Morgan hostage. Morgan has an asthma attack. No, Morgan!
No, Morgan! God, so that information was important.
They were like, remember when we said he was asthmatic?
Call back, he's asthmatic.
So, the alien sprays Morgan with toxic gas from its wrist. Why does the alien have toxic gas?
Whoa, on its wrist?
Yeah, it's like a Spidey thing.
Yeah, so
Graham recovers his stricken son as his brother bashes the creature and smashes glasses of water at it.
Bashes and smashes.
Like you're just throwing full glasses of water.
Yeah, he's just like, get, shoo, beast.
Like,
back into the cornfields with you. Go.
But I guess the water does eventually kill it. So outside, Graham administers Morgan's medication, realizing that his asthma saved the day, realizing that his son's constricted lungs prevented him from inhaling the toxins. That's what asthma is.
Yeah, like I guess, but like I don't know. I just feel like you have a hard time. You're still breathing.
Air is still there, yes.
Yeah, because I don't know about that.
We're still in the air.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
So Mel Gibson's character attribute his son's asthma as an intervention from a higher power. So we've got religion.
Jesus kept the toxins out of his lungs.
Yes. Months later, the Hess family has recovered from the ordeal and Graham returns to the church.
Ugh.
They're also assuming that one alien was doing all this shit.
Also, just like what would make you abandon your faith more?
Yeah, I'm like now I'm heading over to Paradigm.
Yeah, seriously. I'm like, Paradigm, take me in. You need a preacher?
Final considerations. Do we believe it or not?
Yeah, like what are we believing that crop circles are done by aliens?
Pretty much, yeah.
I
Like,
think that'd be good. Well, I do feel like yeah, some of them seem like they're man-made.
I just think that honestly, yes, I believe that there's probably a supernatural aspect to some of them.
Mhm.
And I'm just more willing to believe that I don't know something than that I do.
Yeah, I do feel like some of them could have been created by that. Like the video really got me. That was really cool to see.
Yeah.
Just
Video
like being branded into the ground. I
and
think that or like something with like the Earth's not
yeah,
gravitational pull, but like electromagnetic fields and stuff.
yeah.
Like I don't think it's just people doing that. Like I don't think it started with people.
I don't think so either. And also like I don't think it necessarily has to be like, they're coming or something like that.
It
I'm
doesn't
like,
have to be bad
yeah, like I'm
or
like, what
scary.
good or bad, like it just is.
Yeah, and it's cool.
I believe aliens are our Hail Mary pass and they need to hurry the fuck up because I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Take us now.
Stephen Hawking, before he died, did warn that if a more developed species did come, that they might give us the old Christopher Columbus steal all our resources treatment, which maybe
Yeah,
if
it
they
makes sense.
if they think the same way we do.
I know, like if they've been watching us do that, they're like, hey, that's a good idea.
But I argue that's humans. We're fucked. We destroy our own environment and then deny it's because of all the shit we put into it, like climate change fire. And I sincerely want to believe that aliens would be comparable to, remember the SpongeBob episode with the number one hat when
Yes.
when Krabs, oh my god, you're gonna kill me, and Smitty's like, that's disgusting. We just want the hat back.
Yeah, he's like, just give us the hat.
Like that's what I hope aliens are like. How we're like, no, don't probe my asshole, and they're like, that's gross. Why would I do that?
Yeah, that's something you're projecting.
But I will say that
Yeah.
I do believe this one.
Yeah, I really like learning about this one. I definitely like yeah, like I want a different I don't know, like stuff that has to do with nature. I'm obviously just like super interested in because I just like
Yeah.
that stuff.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us this week. This was, as always, a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're both pretty agnostic about the whole thing, which isn't
Yeah.
a super exciting conclusion, but it was fun to learn about.
Yeah. I hope you all go and research the Paradigm Research Group
And watch Signs.
and watch Crop Circles the Enigma on
Yeah.
you. Well, okay, also you can find us on Instagram at aisle666 podcast. You can also find me on Instagram at Molly LeGros, and Haley if you want to plug you as well.
Oh yeah, my Instagram is 8.5 design spelled out like the letter 8, the word point, the letter 5, and then the word design. You know
Are you following? Is everyone
Are
following?
you getting it? It's all spelled out.
See you next time.
That's not a very good sign off. You can cut that out.